Hi, this is Pranab Thakurta from Edu TV. In our favorite program of veterans from the education industry, My Educational Voyage, our host is Mrs. Priyanka Bhatkoti. She is the principal of Montfort School, Dwarka, New Delhi. She has done very well in life. She did her schooling from Convent of Jesus and Mary, Dehradun, and she has headed school in Goa, and now she's taking care of Montfort School, Dwarka, which she has taken up very nicely, doing wonders. And her advocacy for students' welfare is commendable. And I would request Mrs. Priyanka Bhatkoti to introduce our guest. I think he's a stalwart in this industry. Over to you, Priyanka ma'am.
Greetings to the audience of Edu TV, and it's my deep privilege and honor to introduce to the audience a wonderful luminary in the field of education, Dr. Singh. He's an alumnus of the Doon School and St. Stephen's College. He's received an Honorary Doctorate of Literature in Education from the Montfort University in the UK. He has published 5 books: Doon History, Daly College History, Unity in Diversity, Aussie in India, a travelogue, and Indian School Education Revered to Revived, a guide to school management. He's a popular speaker on global citizenship and has been invited to speak in Spain, Italy, Singapore, France, Czech Republic, in China and India. He was the head of Daly College and director Daly College Business School Indore for 14 years and Lawrence School Sanawar for 7 years, and also served as founder director of the Asian School. Over the years, he has served as advisor education in the government of Punjab, as chairman of the Indian Public Schools Conference, as trustee and advisory in the executive of Round Square UK, and on the board of Global Connections China, Mayo College General Council, Lawrence School Lovedale, and as member of G20 and Indore Cancer Foundation. He is currently serving on the council board of World Leading Schools Association, Amsterdam, and on the board of AFS India, Punjab Public School, Nabha, Univariety, and Indore Management Association. He is a member of the Peninsula Foundation, a non-profit think tank for study and research of public policy with respect to governance, international affairs, and science, technology, and security affairs. Former advisor to Mayo College Girls School, Ajmer, and GCIS Bangalore. He's currently the advisor to Vantage Hall Girls School, Dehradun, Sanskar Valley School, Bhopal, and SI International School in Bhubaneswar. He is also an independent director at Infobeans Technologies Limited and on the planning committee of the Doon School. He's keen on community service and has served as vice president of Sutra, an NGO with 40,000 women as members, and has been active as the trustee in the joint project of ICU2 between France and India. A keen artist, he has had 4 one-man exhibitions in oil on canvas. He has designed a number of schools, including Pathways World School, Doon Girls, and Sanskar Valley School. He is committed to the broader picture of education and believes it is through opportunities provided in school and at home that a child develops to his full potential. He believes in life skills like public speaking, and that every individual, if sensitized to the environment, human and natural, and given opportunities, will become a leader in his or her own field. Sir, I'm sure this introduction can in no way sum up the decades of service that you have given to the education world here. So my very first question to you is, what has been your biggest motivation to remain connected in the field of education?
Actually, I decided to become a teacher when I was in class 9. I had a very interesting history teacher, Baljit Malik, and he actually taught us much more than what we would have learnt in a formal classroom situation. And that spark that he lit in me made me decide that this is what I would do, because I would like to make a difference in the lives of children rather than look at the kind of salary I might earn. from something like what my father was doing. He was a director in ITC, he was a director in Britannia, he was a director in Godfrey Phillips. And that didn't really interest me. I wanted to become a teacher. So it was Baljit Malik who was my inspiration.
All right, sir. And grade 9, you decided to become a teacher, where many people, even in their midlife, are trying to figure out what they want to be. So I wanted to know, in your environment, in the educational setting where you were studying, what is it that helped you develop that clarity of thought? Yes, the inspirational teacher was there. Yes, and there was learning much beyond the classroom that was happening. What are the key factors that helped you develop that clarity of thought, that this is where your heart lies, this is where your interest is, and this is where you want to look at the journey continuing? Were there some key indicators there which now when you reflect you are able to identify, sir?
He was a great inspiration. He allowed us to do a lot of things which normally one would not be allowed to do in school. Produce our own plays and community service in a very big way. In a whole year, he did not open the textbook, and he did not teach us the history that we were supposed to learn, Indian history. He was busy talking to us about Africa and the leaders around the world who had made an impact. So it was a different kind of a, learning experience, which I found very interesting.
Found very interesting. So now you've helped develop many schools. What are some key guidelines, or what are some key features that you ensure have to be integrated in the school system so that the educational community takes notice and learns from your experience? You've created very successful schools here. Yes, so we'd like to learn from your experience.
Well, it's actually, of course, the head of the school can't do everything on his own or her own. It is a whole team that is involved, not just adults, but also students. And I believe sincerely that a successful school is one that is actually run by the students. So what I do is I try and create a situation where they get a lot of opportunities of leadership, decision-making, committees, parliament, and like when we had, for example, in Daly College, in I think it was 2007, that we had 700 delegates from overseas for an international conference for 5 days. And we had some very prominent people coming in. It was expected that the adults on the campus would manage everything. They would be the interface with the conference delegates. So I said, no, this is a great opportunity for our children. And so we took the backseat and we let the children lead. They are the ones who actually took all the decisions as to what they wanted to do, including who the speakers should be, what the activities should be. And it was such a great conference. And at the end of it, two things happened. One was that the students really blossomed, and each of those kids is now doing extremely well in life. The second is that this international body, the Round Square, passed a resolution saying that never before have they come across a conference run entirely by students, and that this should become the norm for the future. So, I think children are quite capable of doing anything that we task them with. All that they need is opportunity. Opportunity will make them grow. Opportunity will inspire them. Opportunity will give us results, and eventually their leadership qualities will develop out of the opportunities that we give them.
So again, that's a beautiful validation of, the potential that is there in students, and the fact that you're bringing again and again to us the need to give opportunities to our students, trusting them with responsibilities. And we've seen time and time again, students never fail the grown-ups.
Absolutely.
It's systems and processes that we need to be careful about. And again, this example from the Round Square Conference, which is very prestigious, and to trust the whole would have taken the whole program to students would have taken a lot of courage, but it gave rich dividends and returns out here. Yes. So again, that's very valuable learning for all of us. And there are schools now which are, I think this is under your leadership, where schools are looking towards becoming student-led rather than teacher-led or management-led out there. And again, we are the richer for such things happening in the field of education. So my next question to you is, which are the most valuable lessons that you learned at the Doon School, which have helped you throughout life? So these may not be the syllabus, but much more beyond. Yes,
as a student or as a teacher?
As a student first, I would like you.
Okay. So first of all, as I said, we had a lot of freedom.
Yes.
And it was we had a lot of committees, clubs, social interest clubs, and committees, societies which we could join. We could also form our own societies and clubs. There was nothing to stop us from doing that. And so, if 4 or 5 of us decided to do something, we could actually do it and do it officially. So that was very good. The only unofficial thing that I did, and that was that I ran an underground newspaper when I was in school. And it was in fact the prefects, about 5, 6 of us, who decided to run this underground newspaper. And we used to print it in town. The printer's name was there. And we used to use names of student leaders from around the world who were inspirations as our pseudonyms. And we never really thought that no one would find out who we were. But it was great fun using all this clandestine stuff. And we never got personal in our articles. But we were very, very critical of what was the role of the prefects. So we were critical of ourselves, we were critical of the decision makers in the school. And that was something which the headmaster of the school, all that he had to do was phone the printing press and ask who are the people who are getting this printed. But he didn't. That was not his style. So he in fact asked us to find out who these people were, not realizing it was us. So it was never a malicious thing, but it was, one of those things which, in fact, one of the my co-editors in the newspaper went on to become an author, Vikram Seth, who wrote suitable.
Yes.
So this was a kind of growing experience that we had, and gave us confidence that we were able to do things which I think normally children can do but don't get the opportunity.
They don't get the opportunity. Again, sir, opportunities, and also the part that if it was only 3 or 4 students also, or if anybody felt that this is of value, the organization allowing it to happen out here is so important. So the organization fit the individual rather than the individuals fitting into the organization. And I think that is what we also need to take care of, be it on the part of teachers or the students or the communities that we are working with. So now your lessons as a teacher at the Doon School and the various places and the various positions that you have held. So what were the major lessons which have helped you achieve the success that you have? Because
I'll tell you one thing which I did, which is a little unusual. Otherwise, nothing really much, but one thing which is unusual is that as a teacher in the Doon School and later as a head of school in Sanawar and in Daly College, when you appoint someone, a master who is going to be in charge of a particular society or activity, let's say there is somebody some teacher who has to be in charge of the botanical society or of the motor mechanics society, make sure that the adult who is appointed is least interested in that activity, is least competent in that activity.
right.
What we tend to do is we tend to take someone who is interested or knowledgeable, and he will become the leader of this society or this group. But then what happens is that because he is knowledgeable, the children are not able to rise to their full potential. Because, you know, in every class, in every club, in every society, there will be some children who will know more than the teacher.
Yes.
Because it's their interest, you know, and they've been reading up and they've been researching much more than we have. But they're not allowed to grow beyond the teacher's limit. Now, if the teacher is not the person who is saying that I know it all, I know nothing, you guys have to run the society, so you please find out what we need to do, then the students rise to their full potential.
Yes.
So that is something which I found over the years, that never give an activity to someone who's really good at it or interested in it. Of course, you can't do that with games. With games, it would be someone who knows what he's talking about, what he's advising and coaching the children. But in these societies and clubs, it's certainly possible.
Again, sir, this is a wonderful perspective that you've brought, that the finite limits of the teacher should not become the limit for the students that they are mentoring and nurturing. And the moment we, the teachers, realize that the students do know and they might know more than what we do know, it gives them an opportunity to rise above. And that's, I think, what the role of a teacher is, to let the student rise above our own capabilities. There only then the whole system is going to grow.
That's what the whole Indian philosophy of guruship is. That the guru makes sure the shishya rises above his own.
Out here, yes. So again, the whole rootedness in Indian culture, and then reaching out for global goals out here, which brings to me the part on global citizenship. That's a cause that has been close to your heart, sir. I would like you to again guide us over here how this can be developed in schools, because yes, we are living in a very interdependent world. So these are things which will be discriminators, which will make our students stand apart from the others if citizenship is developed well, and our communities would tremendously benefit from the same. Yes, sir. So how do we go about that?
The intercultural learning at a global level, there is no alternative to it, because it has to come. The whole world is coming together.
Yes.
Whether we travel for pleasure, whether we go for education, whether we go for work, eventually we are all moving around, whether it is within India or whether it is outside India. And in India itself, the cultural differences between parts of India is so great that we start appreciating the cultural identity of people, and yet we respect it. So that is a good beginning in India. We have that opportunity. But it is important that the whole world has to come together, and that we have to do it through globalization. So what I have done personally is that I've made sure that there is, for example, United Nations, the MUNs, Model United Nations. That is a great learning experience for children. It doesn't cost us anything. We just need to be even within our own school, or 5 schools or 10 schools or 50 schools. Just the other day I was in Patiala, they had 40 schools represented. At the same time, there were about 5 other MUNs taking place in the region. So it goes to show how popular this activity has become. And apart from that, you need to look at exchanges, student exchanges. So student exchanges can be done at various levels, but the most effective exchange is when a student goes on his own or her own to another culture, to another school, for at least 3 months, and integrates with that culture, becomes confident, becomes independent, not traveling with your parents, not traveling with your teachers, but going on your own. Of course, we have to prepare the child, brief the child, and then the child goes. When that child comes back, the child is not the same child. I've had parents coming to me and saying, what are you doing? What's going to happen to my child? My child is going to be homesick. My child is going to be miserable. And after the child comes back, they come to me and say, thank you so much. Because the child is grown as a human being. And I think these exposures, now we can't send everyone on an exchange. I know that I used to send about 100 kids a year, and I had another 100 exchange opportunities available. So I started giving them to other schools in Indore, until Indore became a huge hub for exchanges and interculturalism. So you have to help other schools. You can't just do it. The idea of schools becoming competitive with each other is the problem. And I'll tell you a story. There's another school in Indore called Emerald Heights International School. Now, the owner of the school, Singh, very fine gentleman, he was getting very excited cheering his basketball team. We were sitting next to each other. He was the host, I was the chief guest, very excited about cheering his team. I told him, I said, we should not compete. We should cooperate. Let the children compete. Let them win or lose and learn from winning and learn from losing. But you and I, in a position where we need to cooperate and share so that both institutions can grow and benefit. So he didn't react that day, but it must have had some kind of an impact on him, because he remembered these words much later. And then his son came back to take over, Siddharth, and he told me, you have to mentor him. Siddharth has been mentored to an extent where he today is way beyond me. He can mentor me today. But everyone needs a mentor, at least for some time. And, they just did everything that I asked them to do. If they disagreed with each other, they would turn to me and say, you decide. And very satisfying. But today, Emerald Heights is, in my opinion, the best school in Central India, one of the best schools in the country. So that is a great sense of satisfaction that we cooperated with each other. We didn't compete. If we had competed, then we both would have been left without something which we could have gained. So I think that is something which all heads of schools, especially in the CBSE arena where we have these groups of schools, should learn to cooperate and help each other grow. I think that's very important.
Yes, sir. And again, I echo your sentiments exactly. At this moment in our school, we have the World Scholars Cup. The teams are here from US. We have 672 scholars who are competing in teams of 3, but they're collaborating big time. And it may be a 2-day event, but we've seen the transformations happen, because what you may not be able to do individually, you are able to do in teams there. Pranav was here to witness the same. The students are laughing, they are researching, they are able to do so much more together, which alone and only as competitors, they may not have managed to achieve as much. Again, not taking oneself too seriously and being resilient are again things that we need to imbibe in our education system, that students learn to win graciously and also learn from their experience if they lose something. And activities like the Model United Nations, where you are a delegate representing a country, etc., where you're allowed to research, you are able to look at other members and also have respect for each other, are very important for developing the citizenship, which is the need of the hour. So we really thank you for that very valuable insight into how you have. And when you were speaking about Emerald Heights, with Siddharth, I was there in the first batch at IIM Kozhikode when they went across with Devashish sir, who is very proactively involved in taking education, especially at school level, to further heights out there. So again, your sentiments echoed, because he's very, very tremendously active on various fronts out there. So I'm sure Emerald Heights is being very well coached by you into being the best school in the region there. So which brings me to my next part out here. What are the habits of mind that have helped you achieve the levels of success that you have achieved for yourself, so that you're able to balance so many hats, from being an artist to an author to leading organizations, designing educational setups for success out here? How do you do what you do?
I suppose I fluctuate between being very active and being very lazy. I mean, that's the way I am. But what I do is that I wake up early in the morning, whether I'm in school or not in school. I try and wake up at about 5 o'clock and start my work, so that by the time I get to my first staff meeting at 8:30, I have finished my day's work. Then I go for the staff meeting, and after assembly, I am open, available to students, teachers, parents throughout the day. So that when people come to see me, I don't snap at them. I'm not impatient because I've got some work to do and they're, coming in the way, or they're taking up my time. No, I am in fact waiting for people to come and meet me, because that is what I have kept aside that time for. At 5 o'clock sharp, I leave office, because I don't think it's fair to keep other people waiting because I'm working. So I clear my desk and I don't take work home, and I'm out of the office by 5. So I play my games after 5. If I have to paint, I used to get up at about 2 in the morning, set the alarm for 2, and then start painting when I can't be disturbed. So I think planning your time and what you're going to do and what you're going to be able to achieve. I somehow managed to do a lot of work because I work very fast, and I find decision making very easy. I think with all the education I've had, the kind of teachers I've had, I don't take long to take a decision. It's very quick. So the result is that I'm able to cover a lot of ground in the morning before I actually go to work. And then you have your own time in the evening, you play your games, and you have time for the family and for socializing. So it's not that I work early, 9 to 5, that I'm there till 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock and all. No, I don't work beyond 5.
Again, these are very key pointers here for all of us. One is that you organize yourself and your day well by having a very head start to the day there. And the time which is there in the school is for the community members. That is not there where you are planning your day, because that is already done for. So you are invested in the people around you, and you make it possible by keeping the doors open. And you are then, I'm sure, with that attention and with that deep commitment to them, and again with quick decision making, you do ensure that work happens. And I'm sure teams around you realize that if you are closing your time on time, the rest of them make sure that their work is also closed on time.
Yeah, in fact, I firmly believe in a school situation that, especially if a decision is pending which is required for students, it should be done that same day. It should not be taken over to the next day, because we as adults can even wait for a week for a decision. In the life of a child, these are huge decisions that are going to impact them. They want an immediate answer. So I think that is very important, that you must appreciate as a head that students need your decision making the same day. If they're going to be disciplined, they should not be thinking about what's going to happen to them for 2 nights before you tell them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That brings me to my last question here, sir. The key pointers that you look towards being able to make the decisions out here. You know, there are certain things which help us make our decisions so that they're on the right space. And obviously, if you are, like what you said, you are ensuring that timely decisions are taken. I'm sure you do a lot of research and get your facts right before that final decision is taken. So what are the key takeaways for us as head of schools to look into before making a decision?
The first thing is that you have to listen to people. There has to be a democratic process, which doesn't take long. It takes an hour or two, and then you get an answer as to what people would like to do, how they are perceiving something. After that, it's your decision to be taken. If it is a case of indiscipline, and this is something which we come up with again and again, if there is even the slightest doubt that the child may not have done something that he is being or she is being accused of, don't punish the child. So what will happen is, it's happened to me many times, that the child thinks that I'm an idiot because I had the child there. And then I said, okay, I believe you, you can go. Since you are saying you didn't do it, I believe you, you can go. And some of the teachers look at me and say, sir, but you know that the child did it. I said, yes, but the thing is, supposing the child didn't do it, then I'm going to mark that child for life. That child is not going to have faith in the system or in the people. Because, so I'd rather be made a fool of than risk harming a child's, especially at that age. They're very sensitive. So decisions should be taken democratically, quickly, but always giving benefit of the doubt to the child.
The child out here. Again, very valuable pointers for all of us here. Pranav, at this point, would you like to ask something?
I am hearing Dr. Sumer Singh from very long time, roughly in all the IPC conferences. And I think impressed is a very small word. I really like him a lot. Sir doesn't knows me, I think. And I met him, last time I met him, I think in Nabha, I suppose. So I think he's like, for me, he's like a guru. And whatever he says, Priyanka ma'am, that helps us in life. And whatever he has said today, it will help all the stakeholders of education. Either they are the owners, principals, teachers, students. And best part with Dr. Sumer Singh is, he come to the other person's level who's asking the questions to him.
Yes.
So that is the wonderful thing I have seen in him. And I told in the morning also to Priyanka ma'am, people who have got the names and surname with the same letters, they're very successful people. Like Dr. Sumer Singh, Katrina Kaif, Kareena Kapoor.
The credit for your hard work and your intelligence and competence, Pranav wants to give to your name and to your parents there. So, Pranav, are you trying to steal away from the credit or are you adding to it?
Dr. Sumer Singh, ma'am, he's an icon, ma'am. Everyone knows him.
Yes.
And now from the time, I think, he had been helping new schools. They are doing so well.
Yes.
I can't tell you. I'm really thankful to Dr. Sumer Singh for taking out time today. And I'm definitely thankful to Madam Priyanka Bhatkoti, our host, who had a very busy schedule today. She had World Scholars Day today at her school, and I'm thankful to her also. Thank you, Dr. Saab. And we will keep on disturbing you when new problems comes to us. Fine, sir, because you have got so much experience. You have got case study for everything. Fine. Thank you, sir. Pranam, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
Pranav.
you so much, sir. We are truly richer for this interview. Thank you, Pranav, for making this possible. And Dr. Sumer Singh, sir, I'm sure the educational world will listen to what you had to say today, and the communities will learn from your words of wisdom. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Priyanka. Very
Thank
kind.
you.